Welcome to the Manual Boom's Big Tech Upgrade. Next step is the pump and the radiator. For the radiator, I had custom brackets CNC made, and then I had them powder coated. So this is 2mm aluminium plate. Grab the pump here, there's the pump. So the pump sits on a bracket like this, or at least this is the pump bracket. So this is obviously meant to be able to screw onto your computer case on the inside. Now, initially, I didn't think about doing a distribution plate. And I was just going to put the radiator there where the distribution plate is and the pump next to it, basically looking like that on the side of the machine. But then I had the distribution idea, and then I came up with this little plan. So this sits right in the middle of the 45. That is going to sit like that. These are clamps that are often used for solar systems. The idea is that these are going to sit around. Let me install it, you guys will see. Things are really starting to take shape here, and next I've got to bend all the pipes. Let me do a few flybys and I'll show you guys what the plan is. Obviously the distribution plate is central to the whole system, and that's where all the water is going to be coming in and out. Basically we've got the cold supply line. So from the pump, the water is going to be pumping into that line over there, and from there it goes to the first port, which will then go to the GPU up there, and the second port up there at least is then going to go around to the CPU. What I need to do here is come 90 degree, then 45 degree, then 90 degree, and probably then if I look at the height of that compared to the CPU block, it's probably going to have to come up a little bit, 90 up, 90 in. Quite an intricate bend, and there's going to be a few of those. I'm pretty sure it'll come out looking good eventually, but let's see. So here we go, my first attempt at bending a pipe. What you need is some soap water. I've got that here, soapy water. I've got a silicone insert. Now this is not the EK one. I bought this at one of the shops where I buy rubber and stuff sometimes, and it was obviously quite cheap. I think this is a 9mm one, and it fits. I can probably see about a 1mm gap there. This is a 10mm one that I bought just in case. I bought the 9 and the 10, and I mean I'll get this in there, but I mean this is like a perfect fit, absolutely perfect. I bought this little beautiful Bosch heat gun. It's got 3 settings, 1, 2, 3, and it can stand upright. So you definitely want something that can stand upright. I'm sure you guys have watched the guys do this. This is my first time. Let's see. So you wet this, you stick it in here. Definitely, I don't think something thicker than this is going to fit. Okay, definitely hot. So I'm going for a 90 degree bend here. Well, there we go. First try. Does this come out? Yeah, it comes out. Okay, good. So my silicone tube moves around quite nicely. There we go. And that's a pretty decent bend. I must say I'm quite happy with that. And I've got this thing right here. So this is I use it to cut PEX pipe. It's plumbing pipe, synthetic plumbing pipe. So this is not the best one, but basically it's just a blade and it'll cut through the stuff. Now I've got to figure out what angle I want to make to go from there down and in. First things first, let me screw in these EK fittings. I need to screw them in, and then this EK tool, I think this came with the graphics card block, otherwise you can probably just buy it separately. Now to get this pipe in here we need to deburr it, otherwise it's gonna not be happy. So I'm going to have to take the edge off on this, otherwise I'm going to definitely stuff up the O-ring. So I'm going to go 45 degrees and then straight, and then it'll go in. You stick that past, this is going to go that way. It's important the direction, obviously. So I cracked it. Trying to cut it, I cracked it. So we're going to have to redo it. I'm determined to beat that little tight bend. It can't be that hard. I'm just going to swap them around, and then my bend radiuses aren't going to have to be tight at all. I'm trying again, and I've made my first bend. Not as sharp a radius as you can see, and it's looking, I would say, flawless. I'm pretty sure it's going to work. Okay, so that's going to work. And if I cut that off there. Okay, so my cutter, I find works, I don't think it's sharp enough, so it's breaking the pipe a bit, and I have to go very gently. So I'm going to try this, and I think this is super sharp. So, and it's the same principle, pressure and a sharp blade, and just wiggle it a bit. There you go. Oh my goodness. I have managed to split a little piece off. Okay, so I'm going to trim this. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is not the way you should be doing it normally. So that one's in, and that one's going to go as well. So they're both in. It looks horrible. Horrible. I'm going to do the other one, but then I'm probably going to throw that one out eventually anyway. Alright, keep going. What have I done? Cable management. And that's not even half of the stuff. So I've got a RGB hub, another RGB hub, I've got a Commander Pro, and then still to go, I've got the Lightning Node Pro, and up there I've got the LS100 kit to go. I've got the Nexus. What have I done? And there's some more RGBs down there. Kind of regretting my decision already.
Many months later.
So we got the computer back, and let me show you what I've done. I've now taken all the temporary pipes off. I tried to do hardline cooling at the bottom here. Here's a few attempts, or two of them I got to fit. But it looks crap. I thought I'm going to do these bottom ones, I'm going to do with soft line cooling, so flexible tubing. So let me just show you what the runs are. So that fitting's got to go to there, that one goes to there, and that one goes to there. So all of these little short ones over here, I'm just going to do with the flexible tube. And then all the rest is hardline cooling. So I made a little jig, which looks like this. So kids, pay attention in school, because you might actually need it someday. So that's a 45-degree angle, and you can do that with normal, very simple basic calculations. Put little round circles there just to give it a soft bend. Basically I bent all my lines to be 45 around. The idea is these are going to go around from the distribution plate, one to the CPU and back, and then one to the GPU and back. So something like that they're going to sit. And the last one is the water return is going to sit over there, and I'm going to go into the top of the little reservoir, and then from there on it's all flexible tubing at the bottom. So I'll do a bit of a montage and build that. exciting day. I'm pretty much finished with my computer. So I pre-bent and assembled all my loops going around. So we'll assemble that now. I just need to go flush them. There's some cuttings and things inside that I need to flush out. Then it all gets assembled. I've added my little light cables here. I'm pretty much done. I think there's like 1 or 2 little wiring things I still have to do. And then after that, it's filling time. Flick the switch. Just for the record, adding water to your computer is like one of the dumbest things you can do, but yet many people do it and admire it.
A great success!
Okay. Doing business. Filling is done, and I'm happy to report there's no leak, so water and computer parts don't mix, and in this case they didn't mix. We're all good. 1 or 2 things of concern here. There's tiny little bubbles. Let me show you. In these lines over there, tiny little bubbles that we can't seem to get out. You see those? Look at that. The whole thing's filled with tiny little bubbles. And then in terms of the flow rate, there's an air bubble right there. It's not coming out. There's a little air bubble there at the intake of the GPU. And there's a little air bubble there. That's not being pushed through. Because this is a closed system, I've gone and closed it over there. I can actually put it down on its side. So this case was designed to be able to be wall mounted, or it can lie on this flat triangular section over there. I'm gonna get a towel so I don't scratch my table. And we're going to lie it down and then see if we can get rid of some of these bubbles. Sorted. It's on its side, and the bubble from the CPU already came out, which is good. There's the CPU bubble. There's some bubbles somewhere from somewhere. And then that bubble over there also I think went into this line. So that's both bubbles. Let's turn it on and see if we can get them to come out. So I think this came out real nice. Let me take you through how all my water loops work. On this side, I've got the CPU and the GPU, and they both have their own water lines going in. The cold lines go in at the bottom. So that's cold, and then these two would both be hot return. So it's not like your normal system where you jump from your GPU to your CPU or the other way around. I've done a parallel system, so they both have their own separate cold line and their own separate hot return line, and that comes out of my distribution plate. So if we come around this way, from the pump, I'm pumping cold water out over there, and it goes into this channel over there. So that channel goes there. There's my cold supply line going to my GPU, and then further up on this side, there's my cold line going to my CPU. And then so these are the 2 colds, as I said, and these are the 2 hots coming back, and the hot return for the CPU is up there, and the GPU one is over there. So both of these return, they go down on this channel all the way down, and over there they go into the radiator. From the radiator they get obviously cooled off and fanned, comes back out and into the center channel where I've got my manual boom 3 letters, and so that's basically just a pass through. And from there I've got a line going into my reservoir, and then I've got a sort of top entry going into my reservoir over there, and then again back down from the pump into the cold line. I decided to go eventually with soft tubing at the bottom because I had quite a few attempts of trying to bend the hard lines for such a small space. The problem is the points are so close together, and it's such a complex bend. When you make the one bend, and the other ones tend to warp and heat and disorientate. So I got 2 of them to fit, but they looked rubbish. I thought much simpler, let me just do soft tubing at the bottom, and I'll stick to hard tubing for all the top stuff. And I must say I'm quite happy with everything at the moment. Once you sort of get used to this, then it all looks normal and natural. So all in all, I am super happy. I think for a hobbyist, enthusiast gaming setup, I think this came out pretty damn spectacular. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time where we finish this build and get it all the way here. Cheers.